Welcome to the Aramco Powered by House studio. It's so good to be back. I've missed the start of the season, but I'm here and we've got a very special guest, Muni He. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You've done a lot of traveling, so how are you feeling? You've just come from your last event on the LPGA?
Yeah, we were in Arkansas, so it was a very difficult place to get out of, but it's good to be here, a bit jet lagged, but yeah, excited for the week.
You are 26th on your par 5 scoring average on the LPGA, which is amazing, which is 4.66, which for all of us at home, we would love to be, nearly making birdies every par 5. So we're going to get you to hit some shots, and we're going to talk through, 100 yards and in and strategy and what makes you great.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good, perfect. Grab a club and we'll head in over here. So, birdie machine, 26th. Now, what do you find you are trying to do with your caddy Ben and yourself on par 5s when you get to them on the golf course?
I'm not the longest hitter on tour, but I find par 5s really interesting because you tend to have the flexibility of getting yourself to a position where you're really strong on that approach shot. So for me, that would be within 120 yards. So anything within 120 yards, I would look at it and go, okay, I've got a pretty good chance to make a birdie here. And I think that's something maybe the professionals do a bit more than amateurs. It's just placing yourself in the right positions on par 5s.
So that's a really good tip for everyone at home. So it's almost like a chess game. You're trying to get to that number. Now, you spoke about 120. Is that a number that you practice religiously when you're working and practicing?
For sure. I think anything 120 within, I practice a lot, and as probably do a lot of the tour pros. So come Tuesday, Wednesday at a golf tournament, and you'll see all the players out on the range and all their caddies go out and put down cones, like physical cones on the range at anywhere from 70 to 120. So we can get really precise with our numbers.
Right, we're going to go straight to those. I'll hold your driver.
Okay,
I'll be Ben
good.
Right now. So what do you hit 120? What club is that?
It would be a pitching wedge, usually. Perfect. For me.
And is there a particular shot shape you hit with the pitching wedge?
I prefer to go straight.
Yeah, just very
but
neutral.
It doesn't always.
So kind of zero par, zero club face.
Preferably, but I also don't mind a little push draw.
Lovely.
Which is my preferred shot. Yeah, every player's different. So if you play a fade, you can, stick to that. But for me, it's a little push draw. That's very ideal.
Perfect. So let's start with technical foundation. So you've got your wedge in hand. Mm-hmm. What sort of things do you look for at setup?
For me, I focus on having my feet, my hips, and my shoulders level to where or pointed towards where I want it to go. I know my tendencies, and that is to get a little open at setup with my lower body. So, my caddy will often, just to make sure that everything is square throughout the beginning of the week, just to make sure everything stays consistent. But yeah, that's definitely a huge point for me.
I think we see that week in, week out, how important the body alignments are to help the path. So let's see you hit one.
Okay.
No warm up. I'm just putting you under stress here.
Yeah, no warm up.
That's perfect. There's your little push draw.
Yeah, that works.
So what sort of things are you working on technically at the moment to help this sort of scoring game? For
me, not everyone has these issues, but sometimes for us, like female athletes, we can be very hypermobile. So when I'm especially competing week after week and when I'm physically a bit tired, I tend to get a bit loose and my swing tends to get a bit too long. So when I'm on the weeks, I tend to try to focus on condensing my swing a little bit just to make sure everything is tight. The more compact and tight my swing is, the less likely I'm gonna make mistakes.
Can we see one of those? So is this sort of 3/4 swings?
Yeah, so I just actually practice a lot what to me feels like a half swing or a 3/4 swing, but
it's full.
It might be full, yeah.
Oh, she's not missing. And in terms of, under the 120 number, how do you get your yardages? Are you doing 3/4 half swings or?
I'd like to get my full number just so I have a gauge of, okay, this is the maximum that my club can carry. So about 120 to 125 on the course is where my pitching wedge, that's the maximum carry for my pitching wedge. And then from there, I can probably, if I wanted to hit a 105 or 110 with pitching, I totally would, just depending on the condition. But it's always good to know the maximum distance that every club goes.
And then kind of work back
Yes.
from there. Perfect, that's really good. Let's see another one for us. And I think you talk about a compact swing, but I think you also have an amazing tempo. Is there anything in particular that you do to help have a consistent tempo?
I think naturally I've always had a slower tempo, which I like. For me, it's just, that's my tempo, and that's what helps everything to stay in sync. I think that's very important. So some players might prefer faster tempo, as long as I would say the swing, like your downswing, your upper body and lower body are all in sync, and that's very important. But I would say for most amateur golfers, that's actually something that could really help, is just working on your tempo, and you'd be surprised, like you don't always need to swing really fast to hit it far.
That's a very good tip. You're giving them all the good stuff today. Go on, let's see you hit one more for us. We'll see if we can get it on the screen and have a little look.
Okay, I need to hit a little push draw. There we go.
And in terms of the push draw, that's perfect. Do you change anything in your setup to hit that?
Not really. I think that's my natural swing path, a little in to out. That's what I prefer. But yeah, some days my misses are definitely a little fade, but hopefully it all stays within like 5 yards.
And in terms of the course that we've got this week here at Mission Hills, you know, what sort of things do you need to be hot on?
I'm actually not sure.
You're
I
about
haven't
to
seen the
find
course
out.
yet, so I'm very excited to find out. I hear it can be a bit hilly.
Yes.
So yeah, I think the last time I was here was when I was 7 years old, so it's been a while.
Okay, you need to recreate those memories.
Exactly.
I hear the fairways are 36 wide, which is pretty tight.
Oh,
so
yeah?
just so you know.
That might be good for me.
It'll be great. Thank you so much. I hope you play amazing this week.
Thank you
thank
so
you for all the
much.
tips for everyone at home,
Yeah,
Lily.
of course. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.